Good morning where I am from, everyone. How are you? I uh, I hope you guys had a very good time. I am actually recording this material as an introduction video for our Fundamentals of Christian Education class. As I usually open this class, I have a PowerPoint that I share with a lot of people, and I will be sharing the questions on the PowerPoint with you as well. So one of the major questions that I usually ask my students is whenever we think about an idea, whenever we think about a concept that we're working with in relation to biblical and theological understandings, in relation to Christian education, there are a few questions that we need to be very conscious to raise. And then it's not just what is Christian education, rather, what is the point of it? Why are we learning it? Why do we do it? That's the major point. So as I go through this PowerPoint, one of the major things that I want us to do is brainstorm. Now, like I mentioned, I'll be sharing this video on our discussion group right here. I'd like for you guys to answer these three questions because these are the three questions that we're going to start our discussion with. Why do we want people to come to church? What's our agenda? What's the point there? What a very good question would be, what would happen if they don't come to church? What would be the problem if they don't come to church? We usually consider ourselves as for us, it's very important that people come to church. We go and visit them when we don't see them in church. We go and we call them and we engage with them when we don't see them in church. So one of the major things that I want us to ask together is why do we want people to come to church? And then with what expectations do people that would come to local churches? You see, it's not just the fact that people are coming to the local churches, it's also the question of what expectations do they hold as each of them come to church. And the third one is what do people who regularly come to our church look like? You see, these three questions really give us the idea of the entire concept of in our course fundamentals of Christian education. One is why do we want people to come to church? What is the plan behind there? Why are we interested in them coming to church? And then when they come, what expectations do they have? We already had our expectation, we already have our understanding, so we want them to come for that. But what do they have in their own mind as they come to church? Then the third and most important one is what do they look like? Because the reason we want them to come to church should be evident in the ones that are regularly coming to church. If there are people that are coming to church, they should regularly look like it. And I want us to dive into these three ideas as we move through concepts, because one of the major things that I'm going to show through this class is going to be how do we deal with the concept of teaching? How do we deal with the concept of engaging with students? How do we deal with the concept of working with people that come to church? And I'll tell you why I keep on calling them students as well. So in order to do that, one of the major things that I'll be doing is going through this work of Christian Fundamentals of Christian Education course. Now, it is a major course for many of the classes, for especially if you are in Christian education and pastoral ministry. Again, why do we want people to come to church? What is the goal, the agenda, the purpose there? So in order to understand that, we will try to identify the foundations for it, the major participants within it, the theological explanations, as well as the principles of teaching different age groups will be discussed here. I have a couple of books here. I will send you a couple that I want. I would really advise you to read some as we move forward, but I'll mainly be using articles for this class because textbooks are big and I want us to do a lot of discussions and reflections. So the major four things that we're going to do for this class is going to be reading, summary, and reflections. This will be the first reading and summary and reflection that we will be discussing. You'll be required to submit one every other week. And then we have a church Christian education program description, which simply means once we finish this class, you will have answers for the first three questions we asked. Why do we want them? What expectations should they have? And what should they look like? So that basically gives you the idea of what is Christian education, why do we do Christian education, and how should we do Christian education. So by answering these three questions, I'd like for you guys to write a letter for your local church describing what it should look like. And then we'll have discussions and presentations in class every week that you're expected to do in class. And then we'll have Zoom sessions and discussions as well. So you will have presentations that you will prepare and present to the class via one of our last Zoom session. And we'll have about 4 Zoom sessions, including the presentation. I have the grading, I have the policy, I have the topics here. So I look forward to having this class with you guys, and I would like for us to start well by answering the questions I described. Student Rahama, and it's a joy to be navigating through this course with you all.